Hi guys, today we're going to talk about the general economy of the United States because it's going to affect economy globally, right? So recently we understand the stock markets are having major adjustment. So recently there are many theories about how the economy is going to crash. The Goldman Sachs are saying that the stock market will going to stumble for 20% more, and also the US debt recession and crisis that really make us panic. But these statements and theories happen after the adjustment. So whether or not the adjustment is going to continue, that may or may not have been related to what the iBanks or some of the corporations been saying. So the only thing we have to understand is the fact, or whether or not it's a crisis or it's a chance to buy, or if I've been investing, should I sell it, right? So that is something that we don't usually understand if we aren't doing our homework. So first of all, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and also like my Facebook page not to miss any videos. And also please give me like, share and comments if you find this topic or this video really useful, so you can share to your friends, or you can click watch later, so for yourself you can watch later on if you have more time to repeat the video again. So first of all, we're back to the video I made 2 to 3 weeks ago about the true recession usually happen with two signals. First signal is from the yield curve, and the second, and the second signal is from the Fed rate, okay? So I have to be honest, by looking at the 10-year yield curve and the 2-year yield curve, it's going up insanely. It's going up like a skyrocket. It's pretty concerning, right? But the key is right? No matter how the yield curves are going to act, we have to understand that in the 60 years of history of the United States, or we can say globally, if there's a recession every time, the Fed rate at least will hit 3% interest rate. So right now, the United States Fed rate is only 1.5%, right? So by looking at the interest rate futures, we understand that 100% of us is expecting and anticipating that the new Fed Chairman Powell is 100% he's going to raise the interest rate. So I will make it simple, okay, because it's really hard topic. So first of all, it's not going to be a recession as long as the interest rate is below 3. And even though it becomes 3%, we can only say that in the lowest peak of the 60-year history, we experienced recession, right? Not necessarily that we'll hit the lowest peak this time, and then we'll be experiencing recession this time, right? So not to mention that we're now well below 3%. And the second thing is that is the spread between 10 years, 2 years, 3 months yield curve and the Fed rate. So right now this adjustment is because normally we will see that the yield of the 30-year will be higher than 10, and the 10-year will be higher than 2 years will be higher than 3% and higher than the Fed rate. That is a really healthy economy. So the banks can borrow money from the government and the banks can loan it out to the public, and because they have the confidence, so they can protect themselves, because the loan, the debts and the saving, there's a gap in between, right? That's a really healthy economy. The major setback that we're experiencing right now, because the sudden upwave of the 2-year yield is quicker and higher than the 10-year. So we're saying that, well, that doesn't sound right, right? But there are two ways to solve this. As long as the Fed is going to raise interest rate this time or in April or May, and everything could be solved, right? Or the second choice is before March to May, the yield curves are going down for a little bit steadily, and then everything will be solved and the capital, the cash flow will be healthy again. So the main question is, if the recession is not going to happen, because based on the 60-year history, it's not going to happen, or in another way, I would say that if you are not buying any houses, any investments, any stocks right now, your portfolio is holding 100% cash, and worse is you're selling off everything. Or the worst case is, because you listen to some stories that are not backed by statistics, you're going to have short position that you want to make profits out of the stocks going down. I would say that based on historic evidence and data, 100% of chance you will lose money. This is what I'm going to say. So right now, the stock market, yes, with our own bare eyes, is pretty much expensive, right? Because it kept on going on for many years, right? But again, I've talked about in the last video saying that the valuation measured to the peak of S&P 500 and Nasdaq is just right, okay? So any adjustment that happened or going to happen in the future will be indicating that the majority of the stocks listed in the United States is going to be undervalued. So right now, you see the stock index is going up, right? If you have watched my previous video, right now, you should be holding Amazon, which made Jeff Bezos the richest man in the world. And the second one may be Google, Facebook, or the list that you should have bought should be Apple, right? The prices of them have been going up significantly. For example, Google, when I was recording, it was like $1,000 per share. It's now over $1,100 per share. And the second thing is the housing markets. So if you're living in the United States, for sure you should buy it because it's one of the healthiest countries around the world, mainly because of the subprime mortgage that happened in 2008, right? So people and government and policies are playing really careful. So this valuation is really healthy, and especially United States is such a strong country with solid growth. This is really good investment that you should make, and especially if this is the first house for you, you should buy it now. You should buy it now because you will never know how the economy goes. If in case the economy is not going to go up quickly or not experiencing recession, it's just lay flat for like 5 to 6 years, you're going to pay rent for your house. You're paying the house for someone else to make mortgage, and the house is not yours, right? So that is something that we should consider, mainly because it's not a recession now. Yes, it's a setback. So right now, we can use the chance. For example, people saying that right now, the economy is too good, so the Fed is going to raise interest rates for sure, right? So the stock market is setting back. So this is a good time for you to buy good stocks, right? The second thing, if you want to buy a house, for example, someone is selling a house, right? They may have influenced by this story that, oh, the Fed is going to raise the interest rate, and by the end of this year, the interest rate may hit 2.5, right? It's 1 solid percent, right? They must be afraid and panic, so they are selling the house, and that's a good chance you can invest in a house. First house, second house, anything you want to invest, but keep investing. At least not to sell anything that you're holding right now. For example, housing, if you're not living in United States, I've talked about in the last video, you can buy ETFs, REITs, or builder stocks, anything you can think of. The main question is, do you understand it's a chance to invest or it's a chance for you to escape from the crisis, right? You have to distinguish and answer this question first. But if this question is answered incorrectly, that you have to pay for the next 5 to 10 years, because we're not talking about the price, we're not talking about charting analysis, we are talking about a 5-year to 10-year economic cycle. That is a really important question that we have to ask. So that's it for today. Remember to keep me likes, share, and comments. I'll see you next time. Investing, make easy. Goodbye.